1.
Praise the Lord. Here we are in the 5th Sunday of Easter. It is amazing that this season has been going so quickly, but they say the older you get, the faster days go, so I guess I must be reaching that point where my days are getting really fast. The season of Easter, a season when, like all times, when we should take our time and really reflect on all that God has done for us. The fact that He loved us so much that He didn't want to be separated from us. That He sent His only Son. His only Son came and lived and showed us His way and showed us the path that we should go. And after that, His Son went to the cross. We get to, sometimes I get overjoyed when I think about the redeeming work of the cross. That He came and took my place. Jesus took my place. Paid the price for my sins. And then, on the third day, He rose to let us know that in this life, we shall not be defeated. And we have a place to go. That this world is not our home. The last few weeks we've been talking about 2 Chronicles 7:14. And first week we talked about humbling ourselves, and last week we talked about turning and seeking. And this week we're going to talk about waiting, expecting God will move. So let's refresh our memories on what 2 Chronicles 7:14 says. It says, if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven. I will forgive their sins and I will heal their land. Now, once we've turned in and we're seeking and we've done all the other things, sometimes it looks as if God is not moving. Sometimes it looks as if God is not doing anything. Our lives are not changing. Our lives aren't getting better. Our circumstances staying the same. Sometimes it looks like things are not going the way we think they should go. But sometimes that's the best part, and the part about waiting that is the most frustrating. Because waiting does not mean that we stop all activity. Waiting doesn't mean that we just stop and sit down and go, I'm waiting on the Lord. I'm not going to do anything. No. Waiting for the Lord means that I'm going to be praying, I'm going to be praising, I'm going to be turning, I'm going to be seeking, I'm going to be looking to be moved closer to the Lord no matter what. I am going to be all in with the Lord day after day. And while I'm doing that, I am waiting for what He has for me, what He has for us in our circumstance and our situation. So when we're waiting, we should not spend any time going, I'm going to do nothing because I'm waiting. We should still be actively in our prayer life, seeking the Lord and moving closer to the Lord no matter what. And in the midst of it all, we can't get tired. Because sometimes it's easy. We look around and go, I waited on Him for a day. I waited for more week. I waited for a month. But sometimes the Lord does not come exactly in our time. He's a God that exists outside of time, but He affects everything within time. So God comes in His time, and when He comes in His time, He comes for our benefit. And when He comes in our lives for our benefit, and we will see His power. So, and after we wait for a while, then while we're waiting, we should be expecting. If you or I were to take a job and they tell us we work X amount of hours and we're going to be paid X amount of dollars, and they say your payday is on such and such a day, what happens when that day comes around? You're going to be expecting a paycheck, right? You're going to be expecting a paycheck. So in this world, we have things where we expect. We trade our time for money, and then we expect that money to be there. And so expectations come, and we follow certain rules. We expect a certain result, no matter what is going on. But when it comes to the Lord, we go, maybe he might move and he might not. No, our people of faith, we should have confidence and wait on him and expect him to move in our lives. Think about it. When he brought the children of Israel out of Egypt, they were in the area. They were moving toward the promised land, and they were hungry, and he was going to feed them. And when they saw what was laying on the ground the next morning, what did they say? Manna. Manna translated, just ask a question. What's this? So they didn't even recognize what God had given them. Someone had to say, no, this is what. And then Moses had to give them the provisions for how to use what God had given them. My point today to you is to say this. While we're waiting and while we're expecting, let's make sure we can recognize when God does move in our lives. That we can recognize when God has blessed us in an unusual way. Let's not miss our miracles because we think they're going to come one way and God has chosen to come in another. As we go forward through these days, through this Easter season, and even after this, let's always be grateful that God did not leave us here, that God still moves, that God still is a God who is able and capable of doing all for us, and he can do so much through us if we just open our hearts and our lives and let him use us. And as we go forward, let the people around us see the light of Christ that shines in and through us, so that when we have these uncertain days, when we have these uncertain times, and people ask more questions than there are answers, the people of God stop and say, no, our answer is that we have a God who is a healer. We have a God who is a way maker. We have a God who is a light. We have a God who is able. We have a God who can do all and above all that we could ever think or imagine. We have a God that wants to be with and for us. Today, let's wait for him. Let's expect him. And when he moves, let's praise him. And when he moves, when he doesn't move at the time we think he should move, let's praise him. No matter what, let's praise the Lord. God bless you. And be blessed, and we'll see you next week.